I have a really special announcement from Tim Heidfeld from IAMX, the company that is building digital identities, and Bruno Kellenberger from KYC Spider, a company that has over 250 clients in the KYC space. Everything from small businesses and ICOs, token raisers, whatever around the crypto space, all the way to large institutions and banks. So this is a very special announcement, a very special partnership that these two have formed, and I'm so excited about this one. Let's get into it. Gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot. Pleasure being here with you.
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, so for those that don't know the guests that we have here, can we get a little bit of an introduction so we know exactly who we're talking to? I know, Tim, we've had you on before, so if we could have just a quick introduction from yourself, and then we'll jump over to Bruno so we can have an understanding of who we're talking to.
Yes, hello, my name is Tim. I'm CEO and co-founder of the company called IAMX, and we are a digital identity solutions provider.
Thanks, Tim. Actually, my name is Bruno. I'm the CEO of KYC Spider and also a shareholder of the company. And we are actually a rather traditional provider of KYC information by means of identification and sanctioned political exposed checks or crime checks. And actually, together with IAMX, we are now bringing that rather traditional business into the new world, into Web3, into the SSI approach. And it's a pleasure being here.
Okay, so this is quite interesting. So we're combining here the world of KYC, the traditional KYC methods, into digital identities. So can we talk a little bit about this partnership and what you guys are planning to release for the entire crypto community here at large?
Our history is we are kind of a spin-off from the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich, together with a leading compliance law firm. And we have established a SaaS, software as a service platform for KYC, KYB. Basically, we launched it 3 years ago, kind of a greenfield approach, and we are growing quite well. Even we were able to acquire traditional banks, heavily regulated, but also asset managers and so on. So actually, we have roughly 250 clients. We are serving B2B clients, and actually, all of them have in common that data needs to be held by them. It needs to be documented according to a regulation, which is quite strict, and it is quite, I would say, a challenge to meet all the data protection requirements versus the regulatory requirements of documentation. And that's actually the point where we have established a discussion with AMX in the sense that we actually do have this knowledge and know-how serving the highest level of identification in very regulated environments, and we all do believe that in principle an identity should belong to a person, and I should decide what happens about my identity. So the classical self-sovereign identity approach, and together actually we are really able to validate and prove that such an identity is there. We can validate that in different levels according to the requirements somebody has, but we don't need to hand over or hand out data to the respective person. So we can really fulfill the zero knowledge proof, and there basically we have a perfect fit with IAMX, as actually they have the technology and the end user technology to really provide those wallets. And potentially, Tim, if you could take over from that, the other side.
Yes, what I may add is what is really a big number. Our partner KYC Spider already made 27.7 million KYC records.
That's a big number.
In this short period. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge. Yeah, go on, Tim.
And the second figure, what I thought is also kind of fascinating and interesting to share, is that I thought before that there is like only one KYC, but I learned, KYC are like 20 modules. Maybe Bruno, you can explain a little bit about what is or what can be in a KYC or KYB or not.
Absolutely, with pleasure. I mean, actually, if we look into the engine, it is not just a KYC yes or no. Actually, KYC can be quite complex, and really that depends then which information do you need to fulfill which regulatory requirement. Actually, it starts already with an identification where remote identification can be quite different. It can be something with taking into account all the whatever existing documents like travel documents, but also driver's licenses. Some regulators do accept them, some not. It goes further to the respective proof of those documents according to security measures. It goes further to check that and compare that with the person sitting behind the camera by means of liveness check, that the person is really there and is not just playing with a picture, and so on. So that's just all around identification, which is already a topic as it's on its own. Furthermore, in some regulation, you need to prove the address. So you need really to have a bill of material or a utility bill, for instance, electricity or whatever, with the address, just to satisfy the regulator that the address does exist. Those are elements. Further elements wants to have declaration of the source of funds, declaration that somebody has really the ownership of the money they are investing into. So the classical, it's called the Formula A, beneficial ownership. And actually, you can replicate the same for legal structures, as obviously we're not only helping natural persons to onboard somewhere, but also legal entities or something in between. I mean, actually, in the new world, we are faced a lot with a pool approach, that you have a couple of persons together who decide to invest as a pool and to bring that in. So there, the number of services are quite extensive. And finally, and that has even become more relevant in February this year, unfortunately, the topic around sanctions. So a lot of regulators want to make sure that nobody's doing business with sanctioned counterparties or even sanctioned countries. Also, sanctions is quite extensive because actually there is not one single organization who is sanctioning people, but there are various supranational but also national sanction lists available, and actually we are consolidating all of those information and using that as a checkpoint, as a reference by doing the KYC, KYB. And last but not least, it goes even into beneficial ownership also of company structure. So you need to prove who is the ultimate beneficial owner behind a legal vehicle, which might be the actual investor. So it's really a quite an extensive topic, and it depends in which business or use case we're going to invest. You need to fulfill more or less of those. I mean, we actually have quite some nice use cases already fulfilled, and I would say a rather interesting and lean one is an NFT ID, which actually IAMX is quite well progressed and is able to prove those identities up to opening a bank account and investing $1 million US, which actually is then the other side of the regulation, I would say.
It's a very broad spectrum of KYC or know your customer process there. I didn't really realize or really think about how deep it can get. But yeah, your explanation really takes it down the path to kind of explain that all. So how does this partnership work with what IAMX is doing then? So you're providing this deep KYC capabilities. So what is IAMX going to take out of that deep capability, and what kind of like solutions are we going to see come out like in the next few months or over the next year?
Yes, right now we have built 4 products based out of this. Number one is that it's generally possible for each customer to choose what kind of KYC check he would like to do. Because in our principle, he owns his digital identity and he controls it. So he can decide whether he does social. This is when we check Twitter, Google, Apple, LinkedIn, and some more. This is the first product. The second one is we call it a KYC Europe because it is valid with most parties in Europe. Number 3 is KYC World. So this includes the United States, Canada, Asia, but not the complete world. There are some parts where we have a product, it's called KYC Biometrics. This is based on a fingerprint module with liveness detection, where we use the fingerprint as a vector-based mathematical model to prove that this biometrics are yours in the future. So it's a very solid form. We have this. And the biggest product, we call it KYC World, but with the level that it's conform with general data protection in basically every country, that it's conform with money laundering laws, with terror financing, with PEP, meaning politically exposed person. So this is the highest level. And this is something that can be integrated in a VNFT, in a verified pool. You know, when you're a pool operator, you have a verifiable imprint there, but you can own it. And then you have the big benefit that you can log in faster and transfer your data faster. And VNFT is live. vPool is live. We have published CIP 71 regarding this 1 week ago, and we have 2 pools live right now, but it's just, still a joint development phase, but then you have a verifiable imprint, and the verifiable ID will be live before we are in Lausanne.
Wow. Okay. Which is in a couple of weeks from the time of recording this. So this is quite amazing, guys. It's I'm just trying to envisage how it is. So it's basically targeted towards the end user, consumer, being able to go in and mint a ID, and using the backend services from KYC Spider to be able to verify that. Is that correct?
Yes, but we do not mint the ID, because if you would use this expression, it would mean that we would mint a token or mint an NFT, and we do not do this. It is just that you need our token in order to do this kind of process. But the storage is not a token, not an NFT. This is the model that we introduced, the DIT model, and the storage in the wallet. So therefore, it's fully privacy insured. Just to make this clear that we are not minting the identity. It's a process based on DITs, what means decentralized identifiers.
Brilliant. It's probably really important that you did clarify that, so people have a really good understanding of how that works.
Yeah.
Now, how does that
because you cannot put it in the token, because you can transfer a token. And all the other models where you have like soulbound token, this is, not working. There are no real soulbound tokens. Therefore, you cannot use a token as a form of a real storage form. Therefore, you need to choose always this model based on the DITs. And there's a certain number of DIT methods. You do not have to use our DIT methods. We support any DIT method, but it is just only this method. This is what I'm saying is fully privacy insured, and that you are in full control of your data. And also this model only makes legally binding transactions in one click possible. And an NFT would just, violate any privacy concerns and any general data protection laws. Therefore, it may not be done like this. I hope this wasn't too deep. Okay.
It's good though. It's good that that it is explained. It's not too deep at all. The other side of the aspect is, I think we did speak about this in the last interview, so if people want to check it out, they can. But how does the then other platforms that want to verify your identity, how does that process work? Like, how does like an e-commerce store or how does an exchange use the product?
Yes, for each partner, we have to look on the type of software where his system is operating on. And in most cases, we have e-commerce partners that use a certain e-commerce standard software. So what we then do is develop a simple plugin. A plugin is something when you operate a shop like this, you choose, would you like to use this plugin? Yes. Are there any costs? No. Okay, please put it in my shop, and then it's live. We all know those models, and this is how we do the onboarding. So it's just the to-do that you need to choose the plugin, and the plugin makes it possible that we give an option that the customer connects his wallet to your company, for example, to prove who he is, to send you data in a very secure way. And by connecting the wallet, this functionality, what is your digital identity? What is your data? With this, then you as a customer decide always like a selective disclosure, the amount of data that is shared and which privacy level it is, and whether it must include a reusable KYC because you only need to do it once or not. Only when you say yes, then it's valid.
Okay, absolutely brilliant. It's, if anyone wants to get more of an understanding of that, I do encourage you to listen to the previous interview that I did with Tim on IAMX. You can find that link to that in the top right-hand corner of this interview. Now, what else do we need to know about this partnership that you guys are forming here? Like Bruno, you said before that you had over 250 companies that you work with. Would we possibly be seeing IAMX being used by those 250 companies as well, and forming a part of that 27 million verifications that you've done over the last few years?
Absolutely. I mean, we do have common use cases, and actually we have quite a number of clients who came from a more traditional approach, and now actually they want to reuse the identities they already have collected. Because I think if someone is regulated, was forced to even store data centrally, so completely against the decentralized approach, but they are forced sometimes by law to do so, actually they can now at least use or reuse or help the clients to use those identities also for other businesses. I think that's an advantage. What we can bring in is actually the way that in some areas the zero knowledge proof is nice but not fully accepted by regulators. So we can still enable that approach to make that usable for those transactions where that's accepted. On the other hand, we can bridge that also into a secure and central storage of the data if a certain use case is obliged to store it for 10 years. So we can do that for those clients, and we actually fulfill the Swiss data protection law, but also the banking standard with regards to security and data storage. So from that perspective, I think we can really bring that together, because to one or the other extent, this will come, because not all the regulators will immediately change those regulations, even though those concepts, the zero knowledge proof is broadly accepted.
The good thing also with the product of KYC Spider and how we translate it into the crypto business is, for example, when you do a token sale, you always have the legal demand to do a KYC on the person that wants to purchase your token. And we, together with our partner KYC Spider, offer a pay-as-you-go solution for this. So you can just integrate a very simple white label solution where you can say, change the colors, change the text, change the logo, and then you do a streamlined, seamless integration regarding the payment and the KYC, and you're completely legally conform. So I knew that when I talked to several other projects that have done token sale in private rounds or with venture capitalists, this then really helps strongly in order to do it in a very simple way, without manual checking, without sending information by email. This is completely privacy ensured, and also with the lowest cost involved, what also is important for all the project partners out there.
No, I just want to add that actually we did support, I would say, more than 50 ICOs already. So from that perspective, you really can here bring together those experiences. Because actually, dependent on jurisdiction, sometimes a token sale is treated like if you would issue any traditional assets, like a fund, whatever. And if you are under those laws, actually, that was where we fell into love with the crypto world already a couple of years ago, just supporting those. And now actually we have also the really front to back technology together with IAMX to really support that on all those channels.
I have heard that whole ICO KYC process is actually quite hard and tiresome for a lot of projects. I haven't had the privilege of going through that and doing it myself at the moment. And I'm kind of thankful that I haven't, especially now that there's a solution around it that was, one, going to be cost effective, a lot cheaper than what originally was. And it sounds like it's going to be a lot easier as well. So I think that's huge benefits there for anyone that is wanting to go through an ICO or token sale and have this kind of solution available for them now. Now, what's the competition look like for you guys? Like this sounds like groundbreaking stuff. I don't know, and I haven't heard of anyone else being able to do a DID with KYC behind a full KYC that's accepted globally. This is big, isn't it? It really is big.
Yes, it is. For me, it's like a Minecraft building block that we are providing for the community and the ecosystem, completely blockchain agnostic. So it is not only that we can do monetization with this or only KYC Spider. It works you can really integrate this in basically every business model that is on crypto right now, but you can also connect this to any Web2 business model. So for me, if I would be a builder, if I would be a developer, this is something that I would see like a standard tool, because if you can make it possible with a low price technology to do legally binding transactions in one-click fulfillment, this brings just so much convenience, this brings new products, this brings new business models. And therefore, I'm very excited that we are, providing this. And I hope that everybody can, try to build something with this really cool VID building block.
Just to add on that, I mean, actually, I was, I think, asked at least 5 times to do KYC by investing small pieces of money into the cryptos. And actually, I was only able to proceed with 2, but they were not reusable. So from that perspective, so far as a consumer, I didn't recognize any real competition having the same user experience and actually the reusability in. So from that perspective, I'm still convinced it's a rather unique offering today. I mean, actually, big Web2 players could once decide to change their business model. You never know what happens on that angle. And I always have some respect from governmental IDs, whether you force a use of certain EIDs in some whatever countries or jurisdictions. But here, actually, I do believe in the market that the crypto market is agile enough to choose those markets where you have, I would say, a fair competition and yeah.
What do you both think about regulation on decentralized exchanges and having KYC on decentralized exchanges? Is it inevitable? Like, will it happen? Will it be forced?
Of course. It will be it will be like a bank because there are not two worlds, One world is digital, but the rules of the money laundering check, privacy protection, everything that you need to check with a regular transaction, already starting with when you open a bank account, will also be there when you do a proof of stake because you generate rewards. They are like a form of cash. In this case, ADA. Okay, it's a utility token, but regulation helps because it is just comparable. There may not be an advantage. It's just, the law will apply to all forms, whether it's a regular bank account or whether it's a crypto bank account. And also the transactions are the same. But like Bruno says, this trust will make it possible that this, will be used.
I'm looking forward to the next bull run, that's for sure, especially with all this underlying infrastructure being put in place. It's going to be very, very exciting. I'm glad to be here. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to grab as many resources and links to this to put in the show notes, especially the SIPs, the Cardano improvement proposals as well. I haven't had a chance to read over them. I didn't see them either. But I'll put them all in the show notes for everyone to read and catch up and learn a little bit more about everything that you guys are putting together here. Is there anything else that we need to know or share with the audience?
Yes, we could maybe verify your YouTube channel and give you a bit for this. Yes.
Wow. Okay. You can do that. Wow. That's really cool. Prove that I own my YouTube channel. That'd be absolutely amazing. That'd be really cool. So we can actually see how that process works as well. And I can actually show people exactly how the mechanics behind it will work. That'd be absolutely amazing.
We can do this. You really do it and then you have a showcase. Yeah. Why not?
All right. Let's do it. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on this episode and releasing this news out to everyone as well. It's absolutely amazing to hear. Congratulations on this milestone for both your companies. It's very exciting to see. Now, I'm sure you're going to have a lot more information come out in the future, more innovations and everything else. So I'd love to have you back on the podcast to learn more and see where the project goes, what type of projects you're on board as well through the products that sell, and see how this whole ecosystem around self-sovereign identities and digital IDs grow. So absolutely amazing, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Peter. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Now I have all the links for you guys down below in the video notes here in the video description. If you want to find out more about IAMX, if you want to find out more about the KYC Spider and everything that they do, it's all there for you. When they have the news announcements and the press and everything around it as well, I'll make sure I'll update the news releases here too. But keep an eye out on social media and Twitter for those particular news updates. Now, it's always so cool hearing about these particular news updates and everything that is happening in the Cardano ecosystem and broader in the cryptocurrency space as well. All right. Now, if you really enjoyed this content, please consider giving me that thumbs up, click that subscribe button and click on that notification bell. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment as well. Do all that really cool stuff and work that algorithm for me. And I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating.